Hello everyone, welcome to the path and welcome to spring. You know, it's usually this time of year that I start to think about things like growth, transformation, and change, and making plans. And it's also when I get more questions on how to create and start a personal development plan. Especially how to get through those first couple weeks of learning all the new skills and habits and routines, not getting fatigued, staying on track, and definitely not falling back into old habits and routines. This whole concept around the resistance to change that we feel when we start anything new, this what I call creative inertia, can be a true challenge for people when they're first starting out on their personal development path. So I thought it would be helpful today if I gave you some information to help you intellectually navigate what's actually happening here when you feel this resistance to change. Because if you don't understand what's happening, you might misunderstand and blame yourself. You might think you're not worthy, or that you're too old or too young, or there's not enough time, or whatever. But that's not the case. There's actual scientific processes that are going on that affect your ability to navigate change. And so if you know those, you can apply counteractions. And those counteractions will help propel you towards success. So today, I'm going to give you 3 scientific principles that will help you do just that and allow you to intellectually navigate change while first embarking on those early stages of your personal development plan. Now, the first one is going to take us back to junior high science, and it's Newton's first law of motion. Now, if you remember, Newton's first law of motion simply states that an object at rest tends to stay at rest unless acted upon by an equal or opposing force. And an object in motion tends to stay in motion unless acted upon by an equal or opposing force. So you might say, well, that's all well and good, Troy, but what does that have to do with me being stuck in my personal development plan? Well, if you allow me to fold one more scientific law in, the law of thermodynamics, it might make a little more sense to you. Now, the law of thermodynamics simply states that energy cannot be created or destroyed, that all the energy in the universe is the same thing. So energy can only transmutate and transform into other forms. It can't be created or destroyed. That being said, if all the energy in the universe is the same thing, that means the same energy that is moving the planets around, that's moving your car down the street, is also moving your life. So if you apply this to Newton's first law of motion, that means that you can apply energy against the things that aren't working in your life to get them moving again in a scientific way. Isn't that neat? So that means that you only need to apply some time and some force against those things that aren't working. Now you might say, well, I don't know if that's going to help me very much because I've got decades of energy built up here. I'll never overcome that with an equal or opposing force. I'll never have enough time to do everything I need to do to try to overcome a lifetime of experiences. Well, your life didn't get this way all at once. It happened incrementally. And you can take an incremental approach to your personal development plan. In fact, you should. The Buddha said that the jug fills drop by drop. So if you look at this and you start to look at it step by step, bit by bit, and looking at the smaller items of your personal development plan that aren't working and concentrate on those and apply equal and greater force against those, and then once you've solved that, move on in an incremental way, you're going to be more successful. And you're going to be able to attack these things in a way that is going to work for you. And as you move and climb higher and higher, step by step, the limitations that you once felt were real will start to fall away. And you will climb to new heights of success. And that success will almost become an addiction for you. And you'll want to do more and more and more and seek out greater, expressions of who you are and how happy you can be working through your action plan and feeling success. Now, the last piece that I want to give you today is a little piece of brain science. And whenever we practice something, we get better at it. And there is a particular part of the brain that allows you to do this. Now, with your personal development plan, when you first start out, you haven't had the opportunity to practice these things. They're brand new. So of course they're going to feel frustrating. Of course they're going to feel hard. They might even scare you. But if you give yourself the time to practice them, what's going to happen is that your brain is going to start to rewire itself. And as you do a particular task, a particular brain cell in the brain called an oligodendrocyte is going to be isolated and associated with that particular task. And every time you practice that task, a fatty tissue in that oligodendrocyte is going to be released and it's going to wrap around the brain cell. And as it wraps around, it's going to correct and strengthen the circuit pathway. So you're actually going to get better and faster. And the circuit that's passing through that brain cell that's associated with that task that you're now practicing is going to become stronger and stronger every time you practice it, because more of that fatty tissue called myelin is going to wrap around it and create what's called the myelin sheath. It's kind of like a piece of copper wire in your house. That plastic covering on it allows the circuit to be isolated and protected and run faster through the copper wire. Same thing as your brain. The more you practice something, the more the synaptic pathways are going to strengthen, and the oligodendrocyte cells are going to become stronger and stronger and more allow you to carry that circuit pathway and that energy through even better and better until you become an expert at it. So knowing this, you simply have to understand that it takes time and you have to practice. So when you start out on your personal development plan and you find that it's difficult, that's okay, because all you need to do is practice and allow your brain the time to activate the oligodendrocyte cells so that they become stronger and that they pass the circuit and the information along faster and faster so you become that expert. Isn't that neat? So by using the knowledge around oligodendrocytes and the fact that you just have to practice things and give it time, and the fact that you can wrap the law of thermodynamics into Newton's first law and apply the correct amount of energy at the correct time against a particular part of your life might make all the difference in the world for you. Because that means that you don't have to blame yourself. When you have these little speed bumps in your personal development plan, you simply have to apply a scientific approach to them. It doesn't have to be guesswork. You can be scientific about your personal development plan and move forward with confidence, grace, and poise. I hope this has been helpful for you. If you liked the video, please hit like and subscribe. And until next time, stay on the path.